I'm doing a message again on something. I don't know. It came to my mind. It's like, why does God call us sheep? And I find it interesting that people, I don't know, they follow whatever, I don't know, wind of whatever. And sheep are interesting creatures. They're so I'm not sure how to do this. So let's go over the characteristics of a sheep. So this is for sheep. So I looked up the characteristics for sheep and goat because in the end it says we're some of us go on the sheep side, some of us go on the goat side, and the sheep are welcomed into heaven, and the goats are thrown into the eternal fire. But sheep are they naturally stay close to in a group for safety. So that's have scent glands on their face and on hooves to talk to other sheep. So they leave their smells behind, I guess, if you will, by their hooves. They're smart. They remember up to 50 individual sheep faces and human faces for up to 2 years. And it's just like, I mean, that would that's definitely us. I mean, we flock. We have a tendency to stay close to a group of people that we think are safe or that are going to have our back. I mean, you see people, it's like, okay, well, you look like me, and then you hear like of black sheep. Oh, well, he's like a black sheep, so black sheep are shunned. And that's very much like our society. It's like, oh, well, if you're a black sheep, oh, you need to go find people that are other black sheep. And that's just like humans. I mean, we're described in the Bible as being sheep. And enter the sheepfold. And hey, how did you get into the sheepfold? And it's like, and God leaves the 99 sheep and goes after the one. I mean, it's like we're constantly being told that we're like sheep because we naturally, we group together. We want to be in a group because of safety. And when we're isolated, like some people, like me, for instance, it's like I don't have a group. I have God and have His angels, and that's it. And it's is it easy, more easily to take down a group of 1 or 2 over like 50? Yes, absolutely. Do we as sheep remember individual faces? Absolutely. Do we remember people from 2 years ago? Yes. Do we remember people from like 50 years ago? Probably not. We sometimes do. It just depends on how much of a part of our life they were. So they show happiness, fear, anger, and sadness when alone. I find it interesting they show happiness when alone. Well, the main things were, I think, fear, anger, and sadness. It's and when you're alone, I mean, you're having a lot of stuff going through your head, and it's like you're motivated by anything that comes along. And so if you watch TV or anything else, I mean, you're motivated by these different things. And these were other characteristics. You don't forget a face. Baby sheep or lambs. And I find it interesting that God is called the Lamb of God. He's also called the sacrificial lamb because in Passover time they had, what was it, two lambs, and then they released one as the one that had all the sin on it, and then but they did take one lamb and used its blood on the altar to appease everything. And ewes, or EWES, are females and rams are the male. Exploited for factory farming, play follow the leader, experience same emotions as people. I think God made sheep. I mean, it's highly sensitive animals. Maybe I'm not going to go there. There's some of us more sensitive than others, and some parts of us more sensitive than others. talk about feelings. Absolutely, we need people to vent and to share our feelings with. And when you have that, when you pin that up, it can turn into anger. Like if we pin up frustrations and that type of thing, it can be turned into anger. Pinned sheep exhibit circling due to frustration. So I'm going to read some verses about sheep. So this is in Jeremiah 50. It says, "My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have led them astray and caused them to roam on the mountains." Sorry, I have a tractor coming by me. They wandered over the mountains and hills and forgot their own resting place. So when we don't have a person or like a person to follow, then we wander all over the place. And that's kind of like me. I've wandered all over the country because I haven't really found a good place that I felt comfortable with. I always, I don't know, I always came up with some excuse to leave. And sometimes those excuses were, well, no, looking back, I'm like, okay, why did I leave? But whoever found them devoured them. So yeah, when you have evil, wicked people around you, yeah, they devour people. Their enemies said, "We are not guilty, for they sinned against the Lord, their true pasture, the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Flee out of Babylon, leave the land of the Babylonians, and be like the goats that led the flock. For I will stir up and bring against Babylon an alliance of great nations from the land of the north." And this actually is hinting at, because at several different verses, because it says, "In the land of the north will come against the land of the south," and that's Daniel's prophecy. And it's also Babylon. I've heard numerous people, including myself, say that we are the new Babylon. And so yeah, this place is going to be absolutely destroyed like it was. Jeremiah was the one that came up against Jerusalem in the time of, and he warned them. He's like, hey, you need to turn back to God. Hey, you need to get right with God and to turn away from your idols. And they didn't listen to him. So he kept warning and warning and warning. And this is for educational purposes. Nothing that I'm saying is, this is historically accurate. This is not me going against anyone. This is me telling exactly what happened with Jeremiah's time. Because what happened is, was it, I can't remember which, was it Cyrus? One of, basically the king of Babylon came and took out Jerusalem and captured it, just like in so this is going to happen again, where the Babylon is going to be taken down by the king of the north. Well, maybe the king of the north. So that was in Jeremiah's time. And then we have another example in Ezekiel about shepherds and sheep. It says, "Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Woe to the shepherds of Israel who only take care of themselves. Should not shepherds take care of the flock? You eat the curds, clothe yourselves with the wool, and slaughter the choice animals, but you do not take care of the flock. You have not strengthened the weak, or healed the sick, or bound up the injured. You have not brought back the strays, or searched for the lost. You have ruled them harshly and brutally. They were scattered because there was no shepherd, and then they were scattered. They became food for all the wild animals. My sheep wandered over all the mountains and every high hill," which is exactly like in Jeremiah's day. "They were scattered over the whole earth, and no one searched or looked for them." And Yeshua says to go and look for these and to bring them back into the sheepfold. It talks, and in this end times, it does talk about how the 12 tribes are returning, and it's because we're supposed to go out and bring them back to Yeshua, the true God. It's not about a religion. There's not one religion out there anymore. That there's some that pose as the right way and end up misleading. I would look at the true Bible and don't take the word of extraneous resources You can take them as like with a grain of salt. In other words, look at them, but make sure that you ask God. It's like, hey, is this even accurate? What's being said here? Because there are a lot of books that have been made. Some of them, I'm not going to go further, I don't think. But yeah, they're made to look religious in other things, but they are straight from Satan himself. So, and Satan likes to disguise himself, and it even says in the Bible that he disguises himself as an angel of light. So just be very careful. Therefore, you shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. As sure as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, because my flock lacks a shepherd, and so has plundered, and has become food for all the wild animals, and because my shepherds did not search for my flock, but cared for themselves rather than for my flock. Therefore, our shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. I am against the shepherds and will hold them accountable for my flock. And this goes for today. If you're a shepherd leading people and you have fancy cars and a big huge mansion, and you have people in your congregation that can't even afford the necessities, then yeah, there's some majorly, this is talking straight at you. You have made yourselves big mansions on the backs of people that are just trying to survive this wicked life. I will remove them from tending the flock so that the shepherds can no longer feed themselves. I will rescue my flock from their mouths, and it will no longer be food for them. This is what God will do. He will lead people to the truth yet again, and he will destroy those that are misleading them. And actually it says that if you're a teacher or a preacher, that you have double or more punishment, because you're not only misleading yourselves, you're misleading everyone else. So there's a double punishment coming for you. For this is what the sovereign Lord says, I myself search for my sheep and look after them, as a shepherd looks after his scattered flock when he is with them. So will I look after my sheep. I will rescue them from all the places where they were scattered on the day of clouds and darkness. Wow. So this clouds and darkness, and this is talking about in two different other places. Clouds and darkness is mentioned in Joel 2. Is it Joel chapter 2? And also Acts chapter 2, where it says that the sun will become dark and the moon as blood on the great and terrible day. So yeah, God, and also we know that the harpazo or rapture will happen. There are certain people that are ready for God to come, and they will be taken away, and there's others that won't be. However, we're not. When we read the Bible, it says that God doesn't come back until, or Yeshua doesn't come back to here until after a lot of stuff has happened. So there's going to be sword happening, which is starts with a W, ends with an R. You can fill in the middle syllable or whatever vowel. And there's also great tossing of the seas. There's going to be absolute devastation like you've never seen. So yeah, but that's before he comes back. I'll bring them out from the nations and gather them from countries, and I will bring to them to their own land. I will pasture them on the mountains of Israel, in the ravines and in all the settlements of the land. I will tend them in a good pasture, in the mountain heights of Israel will be their grazing land. There they will lie down in good grazing land, and there they will feed in a rich pasture on the mountains of Israel. I myself will tend my sheep and have them lie down, declares the sovereign Lord. I will search for the lost sheep and bring them back the strays. I will bind up the injured and strengthen the weak, but the sleek and the strong I will destroy. I will shepherd the flock with justice. And it says, I will judge between one sheep and another, between rams and goats. It is not enough for you to feed on the good pasture, but you must also trample the rest of your pasture with your feet. Is it not good enough for you to drink clear water? Must you also muddy the rest of your feet with your feet? Must my flock feed on what you have trampled and drink what you have muddled with your feet? So there's many people using their offices for unrightful gain. And we live in a time where everything is being taken from us. We're also in a time where people are going to fight against God's true people and declare, "Oh, we're doing God's will." And so there's just about everyone from what I can tell now. I just read the end time stuff, and basically it's pointing to this time, big time, because it says that you will be hated for my name, and that everyone will come against you, and that's what's happening. And it says that many of you will grow cold because of how wicked and just how bashing stuff is. And if you have seen all the news and seen all the wickedness going on with, I'm not going to even go into it. We are becoming a deplorable society. And my mind goes to, what was it like when Noah walked the earth? How bad was it? I mean, they had giants that were 50 feet tall that were eating people right and left. You had wickedness beyond anything you could imagine. I mean, after the flood, you had Sodom and Gomorrah, where they took people and wanted to have their way with them. It didn't matter if they were of the same sex or not, and they just they wanted what they wanted, and they didn't care how they got it. And that's pretty much like our society right now. Hey, I want what you have, and I'll do anything I can to make your life a living hell. So yeah. But the other scriptures are the goat, because these are the people. And in Daniel, was it Daniel 8 or 9? There is there's a goat prophecy, and the little horn coming out of the goat. And I'm not 100% sure, but there's a certain someone that acts like this arrogant horn, this little horn. I think he even referred to himself as the little horn, because he is arrogant beyond all whatever that's blasphemous and boastful, and basically causing havoc. And I think Daniel is the one that told about him. So you're seeing all the prophecies coming out right now. But goats are, just to give you a background, so this is the characteristics of a goat. They're curious and smart. They explore new objects with their lips and teeth and learn quickly. So yeah. They're independent. They don't follow strict flock mentality, and can be rebellious. So these are the I don't know. So yeah, these are the ones that break off and want to do their own thing. It's like they're the rebel. Hey, rebel without a clue. So yeah. Browsers prefer eating shrubs and weeds and tree leaves over low grass. They're social. They live in herds, but can become depressed if kept completely alone. A baby goat is called a kid. It's like, you're kidding me. Sorry. And actually, this is funny too. When they're birthing, it's called kidding. They're not flock oriented, so they don't care if they destroy the flock. They kind of do their own thing. It sounds like a lot of people, and so I think that's why goats are. Yeah, you have people that strictly follow the Bible word for word, who are God's true people, and then most people, 90-something%, like, oh well, I'll follow God's word when it suits me, or hey, I'll sit on the fence and have a little bit of both. So yeah. And I think that's what he's talking about. It's like sheep strictly follow what God wants. I mean, it's like when there's a lost goat, I mean, a lost sheep, God will go to them. But yeah, goats, it's a different mentality. Goats are one of the cleanliest animals and are more selective feeders. They're very intelligent and curious. Their constant desire to explore and investigate everything unfamiliar. So these are ones that get caught up in, and they investigate things. So these are ones that can potentially, and so this is wow. Yeah, I think God's leading this, but these are ones that's like, hey, let's get into mysticism and divination and see how that helps me. So yeah, that's And so yeah, they're the ones trying to become familiar with things that they shouldn't. God clearly in his word says to stay away from mysticism, to stay away from divination and necromancy, and to not dabble in things that he clearly calls out, like same sex and all this other stuff, sodomy and all this other stuff that is being done. God flat out says don't do it. He says don't drink blood, and there's a lot of people out there that are drinking blood, and one day you're going to have to stand before him, and he's going to say, hey, why did you do this? My word says to do this. And sadly, there's a lot of religious books that claim that they followed the Old Testament when their newer stuff goes headlong against it. Can be taught in the name and come when called. They have a sneeze alarm. They sneeze if there's an alarm, which I find interesting. Goats dislike water and would rather leap over it than jump into it. Strong sense of smell, and it's all about the horn dominance. So the bigger the set of horns, the bigger dominance. So it's not like us. It's like, hey, I got a bigger bottom line, or I have a bigger bank account than you. So yeah, can remember people and goats for years, always in a hurry. Leviticus 16:5 tells about how 2 male goats were used for a sin offering. So you have the Old Testament way of doing things, and then you have the New Testament dealing. Because in the I think this was one of the ways sin was dealt with is 2 male goats for the sin offering. Leviticus laid out all the rules and what you were supposed to follow. And so, because the new sin offering is Yeshua, if you don't believe in him, and actually it even says, where is it? There's something that basically says, is it 1 Peter, where it basically says that the blood of sheep will not suffice. Here it is. Hebrews 10:4, impossible of blood and bulls and goats to take away sins. And that's in the New Testament that they don't believe in. Matthew 25:33, place sheep on the right and but goats on the left. In other words, nations, cultures, whatever. And the goats are the ones that, he judges, and the sheep are the ones where he will judge them too, but it'll be they're judged differently. And Daniel 8 is the goat prophecy that I was talking about. Zechariah 10:3, anger is hot against the shepherd. Lord cares for the flock. So those, and these are the little children that God speaks about as well. The little children are God's true ones. I mean, it's like he's called the Lamb of God. It's like he is God's kid, if you will. He is God's son, and so and he is the one that guards his true people. Even in this time, it does talk about how in this time that we will be hated because of his name, that we will be put in courts and taken to jails and in synagogues and everything, and beaten, raped, and murdered, kind of thing. But this it's in Matthew 24, it's in Luke 21, and Mark 13, where it talks about how and this is why many people will grow cold. It's like I've been fighting with how evil our world has gotten. I've been fighting, and it's like it's a lot harder for me to love someone when they're this evil. When I see this amount of evil, it's very hard to look at this world and go, oh, I love you, but hey, I don't like that you're beating the crap out of that person over there. And then I don't know. But we're in the Bible. We're commanded to love everyone. but yeah, it's we will struggle during this time, and it's like, and many of us will be like, why should I fight anymore? It's like we're in a lose. It feels like we're in a losing battle, but if you read the final part of the Bible, it says that we win, and it's like our reward is not here on earth. Our reward is in heaven. So you may have to go through all these persecutions and all these different things in order to get to heaven. So don't give up. And there is no, like, you can't commit self destruction, if you know what I mean. It starts with an S and it ends with side. Um, but yeah, that's the thing is, it may be bad here, but it's 10,000 times worse down in that hot place down there. So I mean, yes, it's gonna get bad. Yes, and it's already here. But yeah, it's the devil is trying to crack down on all of us. He does not want us to think or act for ourselves. He's trying to take away any means of us living. He's trying to take away all of our ways of living in this world. But God will always protect his flock. He will. And actually, I didn't read all of it, but Ezekiel 34 is really interesting to read, because it goes on and says, I will put you in a good, well, actually, I think I read part of it. It says, I will put you in a good pasture. I will lead you. I will guide you. And it's in other places in the literature, it talks about how he will make springs in the desert, and he will, just like he did with Moses. I mean, he cracked the rock and water came gushing out of it. And for 40 years, I mean, God provided food in the desert for them. I mean, he provided quail and manna and all kinds of other stuff. He's not going to let down his true people. You may think that right now it's like, hey, I'm going through a lot of persecution, but it's, and sadly, I mean, there are some places that are worse than others. I mean, it's like, depending on your geographical location, it's going to be interesting. Deuteronomy 22, 1-2 talks about how we're to help ox and sheep straying and bring them back to the countrymen. So this is like physically helping, and I got a different revelation when I was reading that. It's like, not only does God want us to take care of other people's, like if you see a dog like wandering, like if a dog escaped here, it's like you would try to get that dog corralled and back in the neighbor that you know is who it is. And that's what God does. God looks for his true people. He knows who will be his and who won't be his. He knows which ones will give him more of a hard time and give him a run for his money, but God won't ever give up on you. Isaiah 53:7 talks about the oppressed and afflicted and sheep to the slaughter. Matthew 9:36 talks about sheep without a shepherd. And Yeshua was the shepherd. I mean, he was the one that led people back. But there were people that were following him, and then, like, as time went on, I can't remember where it was. There was a scripture that basically said that a lot of the people that were following him left because, and then he asked Peter, I think it was Peter and others, that, like, why are you still following me? It's like, where? And he basically said, where would we go? I mean, there's no one else. So this is my take on sheep and goats. But yeah, we are very much like a sheep. We are flock mentality, but the thing is you've also got to question and research for yourself what is being said. Don't just take people's word for it. There are lots of wolves in sheep's clothing. There are posers in our world pretending to be people that they're not. So just, I mean, we live in a very, I mean, we are to be, and that's what it also says. It's like we are to be as, what is it? Something like snakes and innocent as doves. So yeah, just very big, very cognizant of everything. So thank you for joining me. Hopefully you learned a lot. But yeah, I found it very interesting when doing this research on sheep and goats. And you can look it up for yourself. Just just put in sheep scriptures or goat scriptures, and but yeah, we are definitely very much like sheep. We like to be around people. or like people that look like us and act like us. But yeah, some of us are definitely black sheep. And I don't know, in this day and age, I would rather be a black sheep than to be a normal sheep. But have a great day, and God bless you all.